Okay, hey, how's it going, guys? This is Lilith every night. You're on my channel called Sun Goddess Moonchild, and subscribe, like, share, follow, do it all, because I am so awkward when it comes to that. But this video is about embracing the inner goddess and what my spiritual journey has been doing so in that fashion, if I said that correctly. Excuse me for my language if I am not saying it correctly. Anyway, I don't want to be sidetracked. So this video is not to stroke the ego, not to make myself feel sorry for myself or anybody else. I am not a victim, and I want to make that clear because I know I've made videos in the past talking about different things about like the Matrix and whatever that is to some people. Some people call it targeted individuals or whatever. Anything about that. You know, I don't want to make my story based on those kinds of things, number one. So I am not a target or whatever. I'm not a scapegoat. I am a chosen individual by God who embraces the inner child, the inner goddess that I know that I can be, that extension of God. I am the universe, and yeah, I'm not right, but you know, there's a song called "There's the Universe Inside of You," but by Elena something. I gotta find that song. I like her music though, so I don't mean to insult her like that. I should know her, like for real, for real. Anyway, let's just not get sidetracked. 4 years ago, I walked on my shamanic journey, right? And I think I talked about that already on one of my videos. And I was saying how the process went. And 4 years ago, I went through a really bad breakup, and it's not the guy's fault. He's a sweetheart. And like I say all the other times, you know, if I can make it work, I would. And God knows that himself. And, you know, when it's my time, when it's our time, whatever, you know, all I have to say is that I hope that one day it won't be as bad as it is on this planet. And that, you know, when God is ready for me, I'm saying, hey, you know, thank you for forgiving me, and thank you for loving me, and thank you for being there for me. But, you know, of course I want to live a long life, but, you know, going through spiritual warfare and going through my magical journey as a shamaness, you know, being in the occult and being in religion or being in the universe that involves spirituality, you're going to go through something like that, whether you're a good person or a bad person. I, like, you know, the guy that I've been talking to recently for 2 years now, after that breakup, someone else. We don't really talk like that, so I don't want to put it on. I don't really want to put him on this video like that, because he's one of those assholes that are like, oh, you know, we're just like, we're not exclusive, so why do you even talk to me like that type of guy. But yeah, he's a sweetheart too, ironically. But the reason why I'm bringing him up is because I forgot. Anyway, let's talk about, you know, so I got really sick too. And that's the reason why I became a shamaness. And, you know, it's really helped me, but I had to understand the law of magic and the law of action and the law of belief, the universal law. And that is what also helped me to be this inner goddess, to have and understand the extension of God, who is you. You are the universe experiencing you. I am the universe experiencing Michelle or Lilith. Like I said, I know people probably get confused on what to call me. My real name is Michelle, but my goddess is Lilith. I met her maybe about last year, a year and a half ago. And after, I got this job where it was toxic, it was corrupt, it was sexist, but I was miserable and I needed to find a way to get money. And I was getting paid so poorly compared to probably all those other people who were mostly men. I was really the only girl that was working. And now that I think about it, I have nothing against those people, so I'm not going to throw them under the bus like that. If they're listening, why would they listen? But this is a small town, so I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, nothing against them. I already had forgiven them, and I hope that they can forgive me for my pettiness too and everything that I've done in my life that they might want to judge me for. But only God can judge me, number one. I feel only God can judge me. I'm not perfect, but I'm not going to get into all that drama. I'm just talking about sometimes I did some things in my life I am not happy about. And I do want to talk about that. I'm not sure if I'm ready to talk about that on social media, but I know that I'm ready. I know that I'm not perfect. And I know that if I could go back, I would. What I can say is that I hold myself accountable for all the choices that I had made. And this is a message to the Most High, God, the Creator. Because He deserves me more than any other man who has been in my life and played with my heart. He deserves my heart. God, Christ. And I'm not even religious like that. And I'm going to talk about how I met Lilith. Okay? And how I met her is, I was on this shamanic journey doing mushrooms. Like doing lots of magic mushrooms and all that kinds of stuff. Like, no, just magic mushrooms. But I'm not a druggie. I smoke weed, but okay, I've been sober. I stopped drinking for a whole year. And a year and a half. And I haven't been doing mushrooms about almost the same, about a year. And anyway, so, I was on this very magical journey. And one day I was just in my room and I was upset after work because I was so alone and I had just broken up with this guy. The guy that I wasn't with anymore, he was gone. I had no one to talk about it, and the people that I did, they didn't live in town. So I was mostly alone. And so I was saying, the reason why I'm saying I'm not a victim, it goes on to the story. Hopefully, if I decide to talk about it more. And I was just feeling like lonely, and the reason why we had broken up is because of the poor choices I made in my life. No, I didn't cheat on him. No, I wasn't doing any of that stuff. It's just, there's just things in my life that I know I should have taken care of. As not just money, but my health and all that kind of stuff, and me being a female, and me not being an open person when it comes to the problems I deal with. The communication was really poor. Probably on both sides a little bit. But, we had moved I was just really depressed and broken, and no, not a victim. But either way, I was being discriminated, and it was just corrupt, and it was just like I was getting underpaid, but I needed the money. And one day I got home from a horrible day at work, and I was just meditating, and I was just channeling, but I don't think that it was coming from me. At first I thought it was coming from me, but then I realized that it was probably coming from something much more, the spirit realm. And it was like, I was talking about love and how people abuse it and all this kinds of stuff. And I was in my room talking like how I'm talking now. And then out of nowhere, I was meditating, and I see this beautiful woman, literally, like if somebody came in my room and they walked in. It wasn't like I was thinking this. Literally, she just came in my room. But like, she was from here. Like, it was like a download of information type of thing. But she came and she visited me. Beautiful woman, pale skin, maybe like auburn hair. She had like this owl, cat. The shamans, the way that the shamans wear those wolf hats. I don't know what they're called, but if anyone knows, it's like a wolf fur hat, but it's a real animal. But anyway, it was an owl one. It wasn't a coyote one. It wasn't a wolf one or a bear one. Like the shamans, they wear like those bear things, like the bear hats. It's not a hat, but it's like, it looks like a hat, but then it goes all the way back, and it's just fur. But it was an owl. It was an owl one. And she was just dressed really pretty, like kind of very shamanic. And I knew that it was her because I knew she was associated with owls. And that's how I always communicated with her. And sometimes was with owls. And she just was like sitting there, not sitting there, but she was standing there waiting for me to say something. And I was like, oh my God, who is this? The first thought I thought was Lilith. And I was like, I asked her, it's like, is this a Lilith? And she said, yes, this is me. And I was like, oh my God, hey, how you go? How's it going? I don't know what I said. But I was just so happy because I was trying to see her. That wasn't the first time I tried to see her like that, and she didn't come through. And this time she did. And I was just so happy. And I think I wasn't really much of a believer, but I did see Jesus when I was 5. But, I was in denial. I guess I just thought it was like, crazy or something. I don't know. But, so I just kind of wasn't a believer. And then I asked her, I said, is Jesus real? And she said, yes, he's real. And she said it in a way that was like, you should know this already. Like, you should know. You already know. Like, you saw him, like, in a way, like, that vibe. Like, you saw him when you were 5. Why wouldn't you believe it? Kind of way. And she just told me a lot of things that I'm pretty sure I can't remember right now. But I don't know how long this video is going to last. But she was just like, we are all one, and there's no one else, there's no one above, like, because for a while I was really into Wicca, and Wicca's really into worshiping goddesses more so than the men. Not that the men aren't important, but they're really into that, or at least from the books I've read, and I'll get into that later. But so I wasn't a Christian. I wasn't like, I'm omnis. I'm like an omniist. Is that the right way? I'm an omniist. So I see truth in all religions. So I don't identify with just one. But I am a shamaness. I am a witch, shamaness. I'm a shamanic witch. I guess you could say that. Shamanic witch. Medicine type. Like, I'm really into herbal medicines and, you know, all that other stuff that I will get into later or in another video. But hopefully this isn't cut off on me. So she said, you know, we are all one. And, you know, when I was into Wicca, I wasn't sure if Jesus was my thing, because I was like, I'm really into the goddess, you know, the goddess energy, and how Wicca, you know, really talks about it. But she was like, you know, she's like, don't really, she didn't say it like that, but in her way, she was trying to say, like, don't look at it that way. Don't look at it as a only goddess, only women are important. You know, only the goddesses are important. Jesus is just as important as her. You know, she is not above him, and you shouldn't judge him, or I should not judge her. I should see her and him as a man and a woman as an equal, like how I see a man and a woman on this planet. I know a lot of Christians will say, well, what? Jesus is the King of Kings, and I do agree, but even Jesus didn't disagree. He didn't say, no, she's lying. He was just like, he waited for her to speak, and he was very kind. And she said there's no one else above. She's not better than him, and no one else, like, we are all equal. And I think she was not just talking about the deities and the gods, like Jesus and Buddha and Lilith and Hecate. Excuse me for that, but, you know, the list goes on. You know, because I believe that we are an extension of God. There is a universe inside of you, and the kingdom of God is not only seen outside of you, but within. And I was reading that in the book of Mary of Magdala too the other day. And anyway, she was telling me stuff like that. And then when I asked her if Jesus is real, she said yes. And then that's when he showed up in my room. And he was just telling me about spiritual warfare and telling me about... Then I got downloads of information. I started seeing visuals. I'm somewhat clairvoyant in a certain extent. I'm not like this big major psychic, so I'm not going to claim that I am. But when I do get experiences like that, they are very, very, very clairvoyant, where I can see like movies. I can see pictures and symbols that are not just thought in my head. Like, I'm thinking right now and trying to figure out what to say. Not like that. But literally, like if someone went to me and started showing me pictures of different things. Like, imagine somebody coming up to you and they're bringing a magazine and they're flipping the pages of different visuals inside of the magazine. Not like that, but that's how much you're not controlling those visuals. Those visuals are being sent to you. So that's what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense. So when I was talking to him, he was showing me like visuals of different religious symbols, like the cross, the pinnacle, and all of that. All that other stuff too. And my brother, I don't know who's in the background making that noise, but I'm going to try to be a little bit more quiet. And he said, you know, don't judge. You know, don't judge, just accept and just love people for who they are. And because I don't know everything. And that's all I remember. I know they told me more. They told me more. But yeah, that was the experience. And then after that, I became a believer. Of course, you know, I should have believed in him at the age of 5 when I first saw him, which will be another video. But the reason why I'm an omniist is because of that also. And because I've always had that side to me. I believe in Wicca. I believe in Christianity. I believe in other things, you know. Like a guy that I've been talking to for these past 2 years, it's not the best relationship, but there was something in the relationship that was healing, and that had some acceptance, and did have some love, and did have God in between both of us, even if he wasn't a right-hander or Team Jesus, whatever people say. Me, myself, I'm not a Christian. I'm an omniist. But yes, I'm Team Jesus. And I'm Team Lilith. Because if it wasn't for Lilith, the goddess, I would not believe in God. And I love her as much as I love my mother and my sister and my family. And Jesus the same way. I love him the same way. They were both in my room talking to me. And I don't care what anyone says anymore. I'm going to say the truth. This is my real life. I never made a video on this. And I think I'm going to change the title of this video. Anyway, it was gonna be about being having that inner goddess, but yeah, I've been single almost my whole life. Yeah, I've been in a long distance relationship for 2 years. Is it perfect? No. Is it helping me? Somewhat, but I have nothing but true love for this guy. He was my first love. Was I his first love? Probably not. Was he in love with me in the way that I loved him? Probably not. But I still have love for him. And the heart wants what the heart wants sometimes, and it doesn't make sense. We haven't talked in a while.